Okay, I've got to vent a little bit, all right? Because Kanye West has been saying some really dumb stuff lately, all right? But then it kind of culminated when he made a stupid comment about slavery being a choice, okay? So then he tried to come back the next day on Twitter and clarify his statements. And I made the mistake of actually going on Twitter and reading people's comments to what Kanye was saying, which is always a bad idea because you get like the biggest idiots in the world commenting on nonsense they don't know about. So anyway, I made that mistake. It's my bad. But one comment stuck out to me because it's this comment that always drives me nuts, which is it says something to the effect of, black people are slaves to the Democratic Party, which is exactly what Kanye is saying, because all they do is vote Democratic. And it reminds me of how even Trump, when his dumbass was talking today to the NRA, and then he starts randomly bragging about black unemployment's at the lowest it's ever been, and how he said, on the campaign trail, what have you got to lose, and all this stuff. Let me tell you something, okay? This is why all black people, or most, and normally I wouldn't say, I speak for all black people, because usually I get offended when people are like, oh, what do black people think about this? But in this instance, I can say a couple of things on behalf of all of us, or at least the vast majority of us, okay? We hate Trump, and the reason most of us vote democratically, it's like having two parents and you got to live with one or the other, okay? And one parent beats your ass, and the other parent just leaves you alone. So, I'd rather stay with the one that just leaves me alone and ignores me, all right? That's what it's like to be a member of the Democratic Party versus the Republican Party, because the Republican Party is going to beat your ass every chance it gets. So it's not a question of, oh, why do you have to be so monolithic and stuck to the Democrats? It's like, because there is we have a two-party system. There's no party that exists that represents my values and everything that I would want in a party. If I had to create a party, it would be socially extremely liberal, like extremely progressive, but with fiscal responsibility. And I'm sure that there are certain issues where, I would cherry pick and maybe not be as progressive on certain things. But there's no party that really represents exactly how I feel, or that's really a hardcore champion for brown people. Okay? Now, the Democrats, at least they're talking the talk. But the Republicans, man, they walk the walk in the opposite direction. Okay? Just look at what this administration's doing to brown folks, with immigration, with social justice. Look at their silence on issues, including police shootings and things like that. So I don't need to go into the detail about Jeff Sessions and his assault on brown folks of all shades. But it just defies logic that someone could be so offensive to me by basically calling me stupid because all I do is vote Democratic. I mean, that's insulting in and of itself, because you're basically calling me a sheep, okay? No, it's just that I know who my enemy is, okay? Now, I'm not saying that the Democrats are my friends, okay? Some of them are. Whether or not they can actually accomplish anything is a different story, but I know who my enemies are, okay? And I know what side of the aisle they sit on. So it drives me nuts, and I just wanted to vent about it. The other thing that's related that also drives me crazy is when every time Trump or any Republican says that, oh, well, they're the party of Lincoln and they freed the slaves. Well, yeah, it was a totally different party back then. And by the way, back then, the Democrats were the ones that were full of all the Southerners, all the racist, former slave-owning Southerners, right? And Lincoln is the last Republican that ever did anything for us. Okay? We know that the nature and the culture of both parties has switched over the decades. All right? I mean, it's Johnson that signed the Civil Rights Act. Okay? So don't give me any of that nonsense about the party of Lincoln. Because if Lincoln were alive today, he wouldn't recognize y'all at all. And by y'all, I mean the GOP, and especially Trump supporters. Especially after everything he's done. And you've got all this evidence on a daily basis about how racist and bigoted and foolish this and deceptive this dude is. So, whew, I feel better. That's all. Take care. Oh, and follow me on Twitter at jgerardinc. Later.